I am Heidi Benjaminson, your host of Confidence Coaching, a podcast for mothers who want more hope and calm and less worry. Life isn't a spectator sport. Success comes to those who show up every day with a pocket full of courage, grit, and a little sparkle. I'm glad you're here. Hello. Welcome to episode 150, Sarcasm. Welcome, my dear listeners. I am glad you're here. I hope you see beautiful signs of spring wherever you are. We've loved moving south for a lot of reasons, but I didn't realize how much more we would hear birds. It just didn't cross my mind. It's been so fun. I hope you get to enjoy the small things in life, like birds chirping. I'm excited for a new series I have coming up in the podcast. I'm going to be introducing a new framework. Well, some of it is new. Some of it is revamped of the foundations of the coaching work I do with clients, the theories and concepts that very easily help us see what's going on in our heads and really get emotional control. I'm really excited. This series, it's going to be a stay in your lane series. It's going to start next week. So just a teaser of what is to come. Please share this podcast with friends, families, neighbors. Just this week, a client was telling me how she raved to a friend about the changes that she has experienced in coaching. She explained to her friend who is listening to podcasts that yes, those podcasts, it's nice, it's helpful, but getting one-on-one help really changed how she thinks, and she feels that change in every part of her life. And I can't agree more. So if you want help, even for just a specific situation in your life, or maybe it's more general purposes, set up a consult call, which you can find on my website, HeidiBenjaminson.com. Okay, enough about what's coming up. Y'all, today, we're talking about sarcasm. Now, please don't feel called out in this. I can be very sarcastic. My husband and I like to be funny with each other, and it can sometimes maybe seem like sarcasm to others. If you see yourself in this, please know I did too. I still do, and I have to pivot when I see the damage that sarcasm can do. If you listen for these few minutes, I promise you're going to be less sarcastic for a really good reason and just be a nicer person all around. And I can't believe I haven't done an episode on this. I was prompted to do this episode because a client and I were talking about a situation that she was in. She was distraught because that morning she had been short in her temper and quite sarcastic with her son, and her son ended up in tears. She said her family around her noticed. They felt like what she had said was hurtful and did some mild reprimanding. She felt bad for her son's reaction, but she still held by what she said. She wanted to communicate something, and it didn't go the way she had hoped. And I have done that too. I've been there. Then I shared with her what I had learned about sarcasm that really blew my mind. And when I learned it, it really made me reduce how I use sarcasm. There's a reason her son started crying. There's a reason why we cry or hurt inside when sarcasm is used on us. It's because of this. The Greek root of the word sarcasm is to tear flesh. Let me say that again. The word sarcasm means to tear flesh. That's why sarcasm hurts others. That's why our heart or stomach twists a little when someone is sarcastic to us. They try to be funny, pointing out a weakness we have or something. We're embarrassed about it, or maybe we over-exaggerate a quality that we have. Or maybe we're embarrassed about it, and it maybe just doesn't feel right inside us. Or maybe we just feel called out. We're made the center of attention when it isn't needed. Sarcasm is an aggressive or microaggressive way of communicating. It hurts because it tears us down. Our spoken sarcasm to our kids is tearing them down. As I shared that with my client, she was instantly quiet, just like I was when I learned this. It brings instant clarity, doesn't it? The definition of sarcasm, now not looking at the root, the definition is that it is a use of irony to mock and a way to convey contempt. Yowza. Now, it really makes sense, right? Sarcasm is a very passive-aggressive way to engage in discussion, to ask for what we need or get people to change. Now, because you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to make an assumption that you do not want to hurt your children, do not want to use shame to communicate with your spouse. Now, because of that assumption, I'm going to tell you the best thing to do with our sarcasm. And this is what my client and I discussed as the alternative. It's this, that we say nothing. We're quiet. What? I know it's hard, but that's the solution almost every single time we catch it at the end of our tongue. Do we really need to comment on the 400 pairs of shoes thrown into our child's closet? Do we need to comment on the weaknesses of our spouse that they are already fully aware of? No, we don't. If we have a problem with the shoes, if we have a problem with the friend or the daughter who doesn't text back, if we have a problem with how our spouse is managing the finances or such, tell them. Politely and directly and clearly discuss it with them, or stay quiet. If you need to discuss it, say it from the position of, this is how I feel. Not blaming, just be direct. But I swear, y'all, 95% of the sarcastic comments do not need to be aired. One reason I think we use sarcasm with our kids, with our spouses, is we secretly, or not so secretly, want to change them. We have this inner motivation that is like this. If I can just point out how ridiculous it is that my son throws a fit when he loses his favorite socks, or make some ironic or mocking point that I don't like this thing, well, then they'll change. Several years ago, my oldest son started wearing his hoodie hat over his head, as many kids do. It's not my favorite look. I used to make comments, even to him, that he had a Unabomber look. I think we even showed him a picture of the Unabomber. Then when I looked inside, that comment was coming from me not liking the hoodie on, and I wanted to change him. Oh, interesting. He doesn't wear the hoodie in inappropriate locations, so what's bugging me about this? If we want people to change, we need to ask ourselves, why do we want them to change, and determine a mature and healthy way to communicate it. Sarcasm is not the way to do it. Usually it's our job to accept them the way they are. Sarcasm is the opposite of acceptance and love. Sarcasm and the subtle hurt and tearing of flesh that it does pushes people away from us. And I'm going to assume that you do not want to push your children and spouse away from you. So eliminating the sarcasm with these people makes people feel better around us. And we all want to be around people who, well, we aren't quite sure why, but we feel better around them. Picture sarcasm throwing out many knives from our mouths. It pushes people away. It's invisible passive-aggressive anger. When we feel bad about ourselves, we inflict pain and bad on others. Now that you have this insight into sarcasm, you're going to be like me and slip. When you say something and wish you hadn't, say something to that person. Tell your child, hey, I'm sorry I said that sarcastic comment about your grades or about your friends. It isn't nice that I say that. I don't want to be mean. If that hurts you a little inside, that's because sarcasm does that. And I'm working really hard to stop it because you mean the world to me and I don't want to hurt you. Y'all, I promise those small conversations are modeling how we repair when we have made mistakes. And we teach our child to honor the slight hurt that they might feel inside. If someone is being sarcastic with you, I have 2 solutions for you. First, if it's a spouse or someone close to you, tell them that those comments hurt you. I did this many, many years ago with my husband. Now, he's a funny guy naturally, and he honestly has not a single cell in his body that would want to do or say anything mean to me. He made a repeated comment that he thought was funny. Now, I'm not even going to say what it was here on the podcast. He thought it was funny, and it hurt me to my core, which he didn't know. He doesn't know what I am experiencing inside. Nobody knows that. It touched a very deep insecurity about being a good mother, which is a value I hold high. So I told him very calmly and with respect that I know he did not have any intention to do harm. I told him, hey, I want you to know that I know you think that's funny, but it doesn't feel funny to me. It's hitting on an insecurity that I have, and I just don't appreciate when you say it. I don't think it's true, but more than that, it hurts me. He was so appreciative and never said it again because he doesn't mean it as being mean. And guess what? He didn't know how I felt until I told him. So tell people that you want to stay close to if the sarcasm hurts. This is true confidence, to be able to admit and discuss our insecurities. He was open to the feedback because I was so clear and I knew he meant no harm. And guess what? He has had to tell me when I have made comments that hurt him. We both accept that we're human. We love each other deeply. We have no intention to hurt. And with that foundation, we can communicate openly and clearly about our feelings. And we aren't defensive. We respect what the other person is asking, even if the comment would not have been offensive to us. Okay, the other way to handle people who are sarcastic with you on more casual levels, a less intimate relationship or friendship with a spouse. Just be direct in responding. See, sarcasm is the least genuine mode of communication. So when someone is sarcastic, meaning they're not genuine, well, you respond in a genuine sense. This is what it looks like. You run into your friend in the grocery store and she sarcastically comments on how fancy and overdressed you are for food shopping, maybe asking what fancy party you're going to. You respond without defensiveness. Oh, thank you. I love these pants. Aren't these new shoes adorable? Just talk about how great you feel in the outfit. And I'm not talking about an outfit that you actually would wear to a party, but maybe she's feeling really insecure because she's there in yoga pants and you're there in your cute outfit. Just respond as if it was really a genuine comment. Or if a family member sarcastically comments on you making the same food over and over for a family gathering, you respond genuinely, asking if they'd like a different food next time. What food would they prefer? Do they have a suggestion? Again, you need to be genuine, not defensive. What happens in those situations is after a few sentences back and forth, the person being sarcastic is forced to either leave the conversation or they start engaging in genuine communication. You're not willing to do the sarcasm dance, so they're thrown off step and they have to engage in a healthy way. Now, I need to say, I don't mind being mildly sarcastic about myself in conversations. I have banter with friends that involves mild sarcasm. It's never directed at each other, but it's a way that we can vent or make light of challenges. It's a way that connects us. I'm not going to change that because it isn't tearing flesh. It isn't mocking. I know the level of sarcasm my husband appreciates, and I tell you this, it is never aimed at his insecurities or shaming him. Now that I can notice my inner motivations, I never use it to try to change him. I don't want that to be part of our communication style. And knowing now what I know about sarcasm, I try to eliminate 100% of it directed at my children. Kids can't explain why it hurts them. They don't have the language or awareness. And maybe a lot of adults don't either. And they shouldn't need to. Most of the time, we just need to be quiet. Or we need to find ways to maturely express what we feel. I promise you, when you see it, you'll realize like I did, oh, okay, my work is to accept and love this person the way they are, not to be mean or mocking. So notice where you use sarcasm. What is it revealing to you? I see what it reveals to me. I see my insecurities. I see where I might think I'm better, whatever it is. Then I realize, oh, that is where my work is. My work is to love better, to accept differences, to offer grace, to show compassion. Then I focus on that, not on making a comment to that person. Okay, I hope this was helpful. That's it for this week. If you would like personalized weekly private one-on-one coaching on how to feel better emotionally and improve every relationship in your life, sign up for a consult call at HeidiBenjaminson.com. A confident mother is the greatest gift to her family, not a perfect mother. Our families want us to feel confident, anchored, and calm. I can help you uncover this version of yourself. Have a great week.